special edition of Safe at Home, one that we've all been waiting for. We have our very own Don Ampersee on the line here. Amp, what's going on in your world?
Well, just trying to go day by day, trying to, plan out the days and work towards getting better at things and staying busy. And, just like we train in mental conditioning, you have to have goals and you have to have a plan to get to that goal and, work day by day at it. Try not to think about the end of the line, but what do you got to do to get to there? And I've been spending a lot more time, stuff that I would never have done, because right now is the time that I'm out golfing every morning and then going to the ballpark at night and coming home exhausted and have some food and go to bed and do the same thing the next day. But I've spent a lot of time reading, which I'm not a big reader, but I read a gigantic book about Ty Cobb, which was pretty interesting. It took me a while to get through it, but I really enjoyed it. And then I just got done reading a book on Tommy James and the Shondells and maybe Bernie's grandpa knows who that is, but
none of the players know what you're talking about.
I know they don't, but this guy's from Niles, Michigan, and he was real popular when I was in high school, and it was a real interesting book. So I've been doing that and seeing the grandkids a lot more. But yeah, it's been tough, but you just can't sit around, man. You gotta keep driving at something. You can't sit there.
Well, and it's just fitting that on today of all days, with the governor's kind of doomsday announcement about school, that we have Mr. Positivity on the line. So we can keep this upbeat and optimistic and have some fun. So
okay.
So many years in baseball, Amp. What have the last couple seasons meant to you here at Northern?
It's been unreal. I things happen in your life that you just don't understand why at the time. And then later on down the road, you go, okay, I get it now. I know why that happened. But, I would have never thought that I'd be at Portage Northern. I was 12 years at Portage Central, big time Portage Central guy. And, then when the guy I was working for retired so he could watch his kids play college baseball, they bring in a young kid and I find out through the grapevine he doesn't want me there. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, I just spent 12 years here. What am I supposed to do? Because I don't know where else to go. I'm not going to go back. I coached at Plainwell for 2 years and that was fun, but it was like, you might have 4 or 5 players that can play. The other guys you need hard hats for so they don't get hurt out there. And I didn't want to go to Kalamazoo Central or Mattawan or Norix or one of those bigger schools. And I just didn't think there was any way that Chris would have me after 12 years of big time competition. But he called and I decided I wanted to do it. And it was the greatest thing that happened. I mean, these last 2 years have been the most fun I've had coaching baseball in 20 years, and I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, God really bless America that worked out. What a great fit you are for our program and our kids. I know every single one of us appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. I get way more out of it than anybody could imagine.
Well, you're not getting any younger, but you are fit and ready for life. We love your youthful focus on this team and just coming and playing and having fun.
I don't want to look at it like it's the getting near the end, but I want to keep doing it as long as I can. And like I said, it's like this has been the best, and it's at this point in my career has been the most fun. Last year was so incredible for so many reasons because getting to work with Brock again. I mean, he's one of my favorite guys ever. And then getting to sit there and actually, I learned so much this last spring that because every year I try to learn something new. You got to get better. You can't just continue on the path that you're going. You got to work to get better. And I just couldn't believe how much I learned. It was like it just rejuvenized me, like re-energized me. Like I couldn't wait to get to the ballpark. There was some new stuff I wanted to teach guys.
Well, and I'd say, you are a defensive specialist. You work with the infielders. And just a quick plug for, Don Ampersee has his own show at donampersee.com. You can look at his video series there. But even since we shot that, there's some new stuff that happened.
Yeah, it's like half of it was half of it I wouldn't change, and the other half I'd definitely change, and I'd change it big time. And I would have never thought that. I mean, I've been teaching that stuff for like 15 years or more to millions of guys. And, I still don't think it's bad. It worked. I mean, we always had good fielding teams, and we always knew what to do. We had like Chris calls, a system in place for how we do things. And that worked. But this stuff is better. This stuff is better.
And we need to apply it. We want to use it.
Oh, I know. But, well, that's probably the, of the things you want to think about as being disappointments. That's probably one of the biggest ones that, we didn't get a chance to put it in at Northern. But the good news is that we spent a lot of time this winter. I mean, I wondered, why in the hell am I not out ice fishing? Well, because there wasn't any ice. So what am I going to do instead? I'm going to go to Northern, and we're going to work with these kids, and I had all this new stuff to teach. And so they've got that. They're not going to lose that. When they get to play baseball again, yeah, maybe they're not going to be able to use it at Northern, but they're going to be able to use it wherever they go. So that's a really good thing that we got that done. Plus, when we really took off last year, so much of it was Brock and the hitting approach that he was getting to us. And when after the season, I got to really pick his brain about, okay, what exactly do you mean by this and by that? So I figured out what was going on, and I did a lot of it by trial and error. I mean, I'm out there hitting balls off tees and trying to problem solve as I went. And so I asked the guys in January, okay, what exactly did Brock tell you? And to a man, they go, and they really didn't have an answer. Like, why is this working? Why did we start to hit the crap out of the ball when, right, if you think about early in the season, we were winning games, but we weren't scoring a lot of runs.
That's right.
And so when I started to explain, okay, this is what we were doing, and this is how we want to keep doing it. And they're going, oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
It makes sense. That's right. Something they can mentally focus on as well.
Yeah. So we really worked on that hard this winter. And again, that's something that they're going to take with them. This stuff works so well that it's not like they're going to revert back to some other method or, go trial and error. This is the stuff. This is how you do it, man. This is it. This is what makes you good.
Right. So as you think about this Northern program, as good as it is, and as we build it, what advice do you have for some of those freshmen and sophomores kind of waiting in the queue?
Well, first of all, what we've built to this point. I mean, if you think about it, the cupboard was kind of dry there for a while, and it meant that our younger players got a chance to play up early. And what we've got right now is the results of that. The guys have been around the system for 3 and 4 years, some of them. And so that's all become like second nature. And the new kids coming in, they don't know any different. They, what's ever made them successful is what they do. And they just have to be patient and really get to the point where, okay, I need to just listen. And at this point, I have to trust what the coaches are telling me and, wait for my opportunity and then use what I'm being taught. And it'll get there. It's always, whenever you get to this high school thing, it's always the second year of doing something in high school is always easier, always better. Your first, when you got a whole bunch of juniors playing at once, all new juniors, it's difficult. When they're seniors, all of a sudden, okay, they know the system, they trust it, and it's easy. When you had kids that learned it as freshmen and sophomores, and now they're seniors, and that's another disappointment that we can't, if we can't get to that point. But the new kids, they just gotta, and I think they do. They see our success. They see these veterans coming in and what they're doing, how they their work ethic and how they do things, and they want to be part of that. So they just have to have an open mind, realize that they don't know everything, and to trust us, and we'll coach them up. We'll make them good.
That is a fact. I have no doubt. What are we going to do, Amp? Can you ever imagine a spring without baseball? Our country needs baseball.
No, I really can't. And it's still like, am I in a dream here, or what's going on? I mean, without baseball, without golf, without seeing the guys and practicing and doing all that stuff, all that camaraderie stuff, it's like, God, I just can't believe it. But it's one of those things. It's like once in 100-year pandemic, and nobody's fault. Nobody's they knew if something was going to happen at some point, and it did. And
you might be the only guy that was around for the last pandemic.
Well, what's funny is when I was reading that that Ty Cobb book, he was playing in 1918 when, right. What was it? The Spanish flu went through. And I think that killed like 50,000 Americans, and they still played baseball.
Well, let's have some fun. Let's go through a little rapid fire here with Amp.
Okay.
Favorite baseball movie?
Bull Durham.
Have you ever had a hole-in-one?
No. I've had.
You play golf every day, thousands of rounds.
I know. It's like I'm beginning to think I'm never going to get one.
Best baseball player you've ever seen?
Oh, okay. I think Al Kaline. I mean, I love the way he played and all the skills he had, and he's my hero. How
about best baseball player you've ever coached?
Ever coached? I think that's John Cook. My first year with the Maroons, John was from Berrien Springs, and that guy could do it all. I mean, he played shortstop, he pitched, great hitter. He could do everything, and he was a baller. He was either sleeping in his car or playing baseball, or that's all he did. And he ended up signing, and he didn't make it very far, but he made it, but he was just good at everything, not just one thing, but everything.
Jack Solaticky tells me you have some least favorite ball players. Would you like to name names?
Oh, no. But you'd know who they were, because at a certain point in a game when they would do something, you could hear me moaning in the back. That's not like me, but yeah.
The work on your nonverbal communication. What was Connie thinking?
That's a great question. I don't know. That girl is we started dating in 1970, got married in 1975. May is going to be our 45th wedding anniversary. And I told her the other day, we've had a lot of time together the last couple of weeks. And I said, they talk about 5-tool baseball players, and you're a 5-tool person. You're the best grandma, the best mother, the best friend, the best wife, the best daughter that there ever was. She's the most selfless person there can be, and somehow she's stuck with me for this long. I'm just truly blessed.
Awesome. Just don't call her a dog.
Right.
Do you think you could get Hang It up here on this show?
I was thinking about that. He'd be fascinating to talk to. He really shies. Actually, he really shies away from any of this stuff. But when Derek Jeter got voted into the Hall of Fame, then he did do some interviews, and he was quoted in the Detroit paper, and so he'd be fascinating to talk to, because that you talk about a guy that's seen it all. I mean, he's seen more baseball games and coached more players and been so influential in so many kids' lives that man, it'd be a good interview.
It sure would. You know, as a matter of fact, as I just think about it, maybe I'll get Derek, and he'd be easier to get than Hinga. So if I can get him, then maybe Hinga will come on.
Yeah, you might be right there.
Your all-time favorite baseball memory?
Oh man, that's tough. I mean, I used to have a notepad of really cool things and then rank them. I'm not sure anything could have topped last year though, and I know it was the most recent memory, but last year was just special. Everything that happened was just incredible. The things that came together to make that happen. But I mean, what the worst day at the ballpark is like the best day that you could have anywhere else. So
talk about that moment when Tyler hit that blast to seal.
Oh, that was it. You know, I told Brock the night before, I said, you know, I'm really hoping for a laugher here. I'm really hoping that we, you know, just kick their butt early. And he goes, you really think that's going to happen? I said, no, I just hope it. And so, you know, things were going well. I don't know what were we up 4-5 or something, but still not comfortable. That's and then right. When Tyler hit that, it's like, oh, it's over now.
So you're sitting in a room. I've been there before, and I see a rally pike up there. I see some Louisville Slugger stuff. Tell me about that room. Tell me about Amp's Man Cave.
Oh my gosh. Well, actually, I started doing this in 2005. Hinga had an old Nellie Fox bat. And I thought, man, that's cool. I remember Nellie Fox bats. You know, these were bats that you could go down to the local like Warren Sporting Goods and Lee's and stuff like that, and they'd have the Louisville Sluggers that you could buy, and they were like maybe $5 a piece or something like that. And I remember all the models and how, you know, people would have their favorites and stuff. And we just don't have that anymore. You got these metal tings and all that kind of stuff, or these composite and bamboo and maple and all that stuff. And so I said, where'd you get that? He said, on eBay. And I said, what's eBay? You know, I didn't even know. So my son helped me get an account, and then I started searching for this stuff, and I started finding them. And then I got just crazy into it and figured out all the models that Louisville Slugger produced in the 60s and early 70s before the metal bats came out. And these were all bats that I could have bought and played with, you know, while I was still playing. And I've got to the point now where of all those models, there's about 100 of them. I've got 99. I've got one that I don't have, and that's the Lou Brock bat. And they only made his bat 1 year because he was an Adirondack guy, and it must be that his bat didn't sell real well the year that they made it. So it was 1 year, and I haven't been able to find it. But if I do, there's going to be no price tag that I'm not willing to pay. But then
you heard it here first, right here at Safe at Home.
Yeah, so
Lou Brock, Louisville Slugger.
Lou Brock bat. On the end, it should say LB and then a number for how long it is. But that's the one I'm missing. But then I started collecting like all kinds of Louisville Slugger stuff, and it got kind of out of hand down here. But it's my space, so I can do what I want with it.
Before we leave you, talk a little bit about your summer ball that you've done for so many years.
Oh, the Maroons.
That's right. Okay,
so I don't know if I can make this short.
Maybe not.
I retired at age 47 from United Parcel Service, and my wife said, okay, that's all right. You can do that, but you're not going to be sitting home. You're going to have to find something to do. And at the time, I really didn't know what that was. And I knew I wanted to get back into baseball, but I didn't know in what capacity. And I started, I went to the local high school, and my son actually had just graduated. And so I started helping there. And then they had a summer team called the Lightning. And so they asked me if I would help them during the summer. I said, yeah, but I'm not sure I want to get that involved. And, I'll come to some games, but I don't want to get locked into everything. Okay. So they get done. I think they were 16U at the time. And then Hinga wants them to become the Maroon 17U team. So then that's how me and Mike met. And then I've been with Mike the whole time since, to the point where it's just about all I do. The winter workouts, and there's so much that goes into a 9-week season with stuff. But we've traveled all over the country and, played the schedule that we play is crazy. We play every day, double headers unless we're traveling. Really good competition, really good baseball fields, good umpires. We just have a ball doing it. And the great thing, I think one of the great things is that Mike's been doing this so long, but he never acts like he knows everything ever. And he's more about learning than you can imagine. He's always looking for different ways of doing stuff. And so that's fun to talk about the different things that we see during the year. And he's just into it. He just loves it. That's the most fun he has, is being on a ball field. And I feel the same way. So we've been together this will be our 20th year, I believe, something like that. And it's been awesome. I never thought that I'd be in that spot, 20 years ago, but it's really been great.
Well, it was fun for us as a family to be a part of it last year. We've watched it for so many years, and our son grew leaps and bounds under both you and Hinga last fall, as you did the little fall league. And so it's fun to just watch all the kids develop and grow and learn, and watch you guys do it with just the attitude that you have. It's all about baseball.
Yeah, we try to make it fun.
Amp, you're a legend. You are a man who exudes optimism. You have an impact on the young and the old. You're an incredible baseball mind. I am so proud to call you my friend.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Can I say one more thing?
You can say whatever you want. This is your show now.
Because Monday night was tough for me. I didn't sleep much, and kept thinking about, I can't believe this is happening. This is awful. This is the worst thing ever. And then somehow it brought back to me something I learned a long time ago about, well, if you worry about the situation, something you can't control, you're just killing yourself. You're just not able to do anything. And so figure out what's the worst thing that's going to happen. And if you can live with that, then go on from there. So I started thinking about, okay, yeah, it's awful that Greg Lapatina, if we can't play, he played his last baseball game. It's awful that guys like Nate Mason and Trey Neal and Jack Iden and those guys that were on the team last year didn't get to contribute as much, that they're not going to be able to do it this year. And so, yeah, that's bad stuff, but is it the end of the world? And then I started thinking about, all right, I've always had the attitude, and Chris is the same way, that we just don't want to make good high school players. That's not the goal. We want to create an atmosphere where they can learn. They can learn way more than just about baseball. Yeah, we want to teach them how to play and the skills involved and how to do it and the mental stuff and all that. But I want to make it so that when they walk onto campus, it's like the end of the line isn't getting recruited to a college. The end of the line is going and playing in college. And so that's the goal, to get them prepared, give them enough tools in the toolbox, give them enough knowledge of how to control themselves and all that, to be able to compete with, guys 2-3 years older and bigger and stronger. And, you're on your own. You got to figure out how to eat, how to sleep, and then perform on the baseball field, get your grades, you're studying. And so how do we develop that? Okay. And I think we do a really good job at it. And then even beyond that is the guys that don't go to college and the guys that do go and the guys that do go. And then when they're done, did we affect how they're going to be as people and how they're going to be able to handle life after baseball? And so I thought, if any year that this would happen, this is probably the best case scenario, that because these kids are battle tested, they're ready to go to college right now. They don't need to play another season. As much fun as it would be, their long range goal to play in college is right there in front of them, and they're prepared right now. A lot of them I'm going to see this summer, so that's going to be awesome to be around them this summer, and they'll be prepared to go compete in college and to have a chance with the stuff that happens to them in life, and it happens to everybody. You know, bad things happen to everybody. It's how you react to them, and so that made me just a calmness came over me after I figured that out. So I just wanted to say that
and that calmness has just came through the internet into my living room. So thank you, Em. That is why you're a champion. That's why everybody that around you wins. It's because we all feel better when you're around, and we appreciate you so much. So thank you for being on Safe at Home. I'm glad you're safe at home.
Yeah, because I'm in that geographic that should be. But thank you so much, Tom. I miss you guys. I love all you guys. And things are going to be all right.
That's all I need to know. That's all the people need to know. I love you, buddy.
Okay, love you too.